You're listening to the Who is Christine Anyway podcast season 2. Today's guest is musician, author, and actor Justin Pearson. Enjoy. It gets interesting, and especially like when we start looking at like the voting culture too and everything else and mainstream media and how that works. And it gets wild. Like,
yeah,
just it's insane.
But you would think like art in general, like music or any kind of art, specifically music, you would think it would be an entertainment form that would essentially be not oppressive, but it is. And I think that all ties back again to capitalism.
Yeah.
To
and politics. Because now we see a lot of politicians utilizing artists, artistry, artisanship, musicianship, all that for their political campaigns, for the political things, for the political funds. And like you said, music itself should not be that platform. It used to be that music, I don't say used to be, it sounds like it's old school. Music is supposed to be this anomaly that is like, they say church and state separation. Art is literally above all of it. They all incorporate a piece of it. However, it is not to be incorporated. Like, without obviously that comes into the artist.
Well, I've spent a lot of my life hearing like keep politics out of music, especially like when I was in Dead Cross, you have these like kind of older fans and like, don't talk about politics. It's like, when Dead Cross collaborated with Jello Biafra, we covered Nazi punks fuck off. People were like livid, and I was like, dude, that's Jello Biafra. Like if it wasn't for fucking the dead Kennedys, like a lot of this shit wouldn't exist. But like, it is kind of interesting, but taking the like sort of political side of it, where like, let's say the Trump administration, where they'll just like play some bullshit at their rally and not really realize the impact that it might have on the artist who gets offended, or the fact that they're like fucking with like the Village People at their rally, and you're like playing the Village People. It's like an iconic gay band
anthem. It's an anthem. And
you're like, you're a total homophobic piece of shit. Your whole administration is dog shit, and you're gonna play that song? Like, pick a lane. And like, for me, it's like, I think it's cool if you can, like when there were like musicians and stuff that were aligned with Bernie Sanders, like that makes a lot of sense. Like you have these left-leaning, kind of like radical musicians associating with the politics that fit that glove, where you have like other administrations like the one we have now, you just have no fucking clue what's going on. And they're just like farting out whatever they think they could do. So I think it's interesting to like, what?
It's so bad. And you actually, I don't know if you've seen it in the news or not. There's actually like, when he was up for re-election, he was using music and the musicians were actually sending cease and desists.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck? Like, I feel like if I'm going for a birthday party and I'm home and I'm not doing anything, like, and I want to use your music, okay. But like, I feel like if you're running for a presidential campaign, I'm going to check with the musician. Like, especially when you have that omnipotence power to reach down and just go, hey, is it cool if I play this?
Yep.
Like, we expect, Kid Rock, we don't expect like this. And then you avoid a lot more litigation. But I also think to a degree, this dog shit administration we're under right now is also turning around and intentionally taking artists that they know don't do it, because then now it's becoming discussed in the musical arena. Like, well, now that musician's an asshole, cancel them. They're anti-me. It's like, no, they just
a lot of it has to do with narcissism, though. Because I feel like if I was a politician and I played whatever band, and then the band was like, "Fuck you for doing that," I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like, I don't want to have that sort of like conversation. I don't want to align myself with someone who hates me. I want to align myself with my team and my people. So like, pick your fucking lane. Like, it's not that hard to find bigoted artists like Ted Nugent. Put fucking Ted Nugent on all day long. That guy sucks.
I'm laughing because you're not wrong. I'm like, yeah.
Like, I think Foo Fighters are garbage, but like when you fuck with someone that's like, Dave Grohl or whatever, like they're gonna get upset, that their bullshit song was played at his rally. Like, yeah, everyone at the rally probably loves that band, but like that band thinks Trump's a fucking turd. Just figure it out. It's not hard to do, Just, if you're a fucking racist asshole, get all of the racist asshole musicians and your shit, which we can even throw in like the Snoop Dogg thing, because that kind of blew my mind that guy sold his ass out, his own ass out.
I thought the same thing. I love Snoop, and I was kind of like,
I've always thought he's pretty mediocre. You know, I mean, he changed the game.
As a person, he seemed like a decent person.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that I would, especially somebody from SoCal.
It goes back to capitalism. I mean, but the great thing is, like, how much more money does that guy need? I would rather have, I don't know, whatever, however millions he got paid to do that thing, less, and have my dignity intact than to, like, just fuck off. But in this day and age, it's like, you know, for a month, and people won't care and they'll be listening to Snoop Dogg again. Like, most people, like, I still think the guy sucks now, even more. I'm like, he was calling, his rant in 2016 was pretty substantial, calling people out. I mean, I can't even say what he said. It's fucking crazy, the shit he said. If you align yourself with Trump, you're this, you know? And then did it. Like,
hypocrisy. And then there's, you know, again, you go back into the psychology of it. And if you look into the psychology of cults, I don't even dare to go down that road. Like, you and I could follow them. Like, I'm a rabbit holer. We would end up in a rabbit hole of, like, that's a fucking cult. Like, guys, come on, put the Kool-Aid down.
Aside from the current administration's cult, that's one thing. But, like, I wonder, like, an artist like Snoop Dogg, like, why did you have to just sell yourself out? Like, did you really need another paycheck? Like, that sucks. And then the fact that, like, we're all doomed at this point. Like, humanity is so fucking stupid and arrogant. And, like, you want to align with that? I mean, I guess cash out and go, you know, like, cash out, whatever. Now I know.
He's just figuring we're fucked and he's going to drive it like we stole it until it crashes.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And you know what's really funny? Speaking of politics. So, interestingly, a while back, like this past fall, I can be politically verbose and every so often go off on a tangent. Right now, everybody who's listening is kind of like, what the fuck? You're a nut. But I actually will go off all the time. But I had a fan reach out to me, which was really weird because the idea of having fans is kind of odd in its own right. And they had offered me something. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm going to pull it on the site. They had offered me something that I never thought I would get. And I was like, because it's never been on my fucking mind. And it was from a tree that was felled in Rochester, New York. And it was, I couldn't make it up if I tried. It's a piece of Susan B. Anthony's tree from her yard.
Whoa.
And they're like, you know, he's like, I worked with the company that took the tree down. And he's like, I have a few pieces. And he's like, I've been giving them to influential women who I believe are going to make a difference. And now I'm like sitting here and I'm like, I feel like I talked to her probably more than I talked to him. I'm like, hey, Susie, what are we doing today? But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it just sits there. And I'm like, of course, naturally, I put my I voted sticker in there. So like my kids see it and they're just like, all right. And I'm like, I feel like that was way better than any plaque I could have earned. And then there was that story has an ending yet, but I'm going to write that one out. I'm not going to talk about that. That was actually funny. But it's interesting to see that, like, how being non-political, selling myself out one way or another. I don't need a microphone to go, I'm not voting for this person or I'm voting for this person. I'm like, you know, I really feel like Darwinism is going to take care of a lot of these issues, hopefully soon, if it hasn't failed us yet. I'm hoping. And I mean in a nice way. I'm not like hoping somebody gets hit by a bus because they're dumb. I just really think that Darwinism is probably one of the more underrated theories. Like, people are just going to kind of handle themselves. Well, I guess what happens when they turn on each other.
We aren't going to survive this planet. Humans aren't, but the planet will survive humans. There's that.
I hope.
I do too. I feel bad for like non-human creatures that are not destroying this place. They're gonna get caught in the crossfires. So. But yeah,
you already see so many animals going into extinction and shit. And then, like, man, those wildfires out in California, that, like, bothered me. I ended up not going to NAM and all the other things because I couldn't grapple with the idea of, like, hey, I'm going to go take up a hotel room or Airbnb when there's a family that has nowhere to go. Like, I'll fucking chill at home. In New York, you guys take it. Especially because Airbnb had, like, offered up, like, spaces for people to stay for free. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? Go sit in a building while someone's outside and outside? I've seen the homeless situation out there. I've seen the poverty situation. Like, it's no joke. And then the animals, like, I've just been watching, like, Project Street Vet and all these people taking care of these animals. And then people driving through the fires to get all the wildlife out and the horses. And it's astonishing to watch that. But when you look at it on a grand scale, there's so many humans and so little humanity. So many humans, so little humanity. And the amount of humanity that was just like, well, you have millions of dollars, your house burnt down. And I'm, a lot of them, I'm kind of like, I don't think they understand cost of living. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't think they understand like a wedding dress in any variation of financial level. If we take the word money out of it, that is still a memory that they'll never get back. So that level of humanistic, like, compassion is so absent. And to think it could all be solved with like putting a license plate cover for your license plate. It says dog grooming. And I'm like,
yeah. I mean, humans could find that like little hack, like there is the like license plate frame thing for how to maintain a safe, healthy life on this planet. But we're too dumb to figure that out. We're more concerned with like selling gold sneakers and like teaming up with, billionaires and sucking each other.
That's the next thing that fucking gets me. I swear to God. So my eldest is a senior. And this year, they all put signs in their fucking yards now. They're like, class of 2025. And they got a picture of the kid. And I'm like, call me old fashioned. Like, I've seen how this goes. You literally are just like placing it like Amazon shopping signs for which kid do you want to abduct. Like, here's where they live. And it's like, and they even now say something specifically like proud parent, proud grandparent. So if you're looking at the parent's house or the grandparent's house. And they also make like bumper stickers. Like, does anybody not watch Nancy Grace or any of those other weird shows where they talk about these people disappearing or they keep going, wow, sex trafficking is terrible? I'm like, you practically put your kid on Amazon in your front fucking yard, dude.
Yeah.
They know where your kid lives. They know what it looks like. Like, they put the senior photo on the sign.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like class of blah, and then they have the school listed. So it's like, if you can't find them here, they might be at this educational facility. And I'm just like, that won't be happening in my yard. In fact, I might just, put it somewhere else or not at all. It's happening all over the place. It's not just up here. That's just asking for your child, son or daughter, doesn't matter, gender, to be sex trafficked.
That's something I don't have to think about daily because I don't have kids, but it is such a crazy thing to consider. At first I was like, where are you going with this? But that's insane to think about. Yeah.
They do it now, and it's like it's even if you have kids or don't have kids, like you see, if you ever watching true crime.
Like the show True Crime?
Any true crime shows, like where they got to like serial killers or anything. They're like, well, I was out and I was bored and I was casing the area. And I'm like, could you imagine? It's like, well, I was out and I was bored, so I was looking at the fast food menu. Like, that's the same thing. They know where she's going to return. He's going to return. We've had several people come up missing without a trace appear. Without a trace. And I'm like, yeah, it has nothing to do with the fact that you literally told people where they could be found.
Yeah, sure.
But you can't help but wonder if that's not something that's, if we're going, that's like rabbit holing. Like, is that a government trying to control the population by doing this?
Oh, yeah.
There is a market and money. It's kind of, if you're like pharma, it's kind of, if you're going over into the criminal investigation side of things, there's money in jail time, jail sentences, prisoning, small crimes, etc. We could go on for days, couldn't we, Jesse?
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, so that's something up here that's insane. I can't believe that they do that now. And then people are like, oh my God, my kid's missing.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much just
crazy shit. And my mom has no idea. But it was a different time. I probably should have died or been abducted or something at some point.
So when again, my grandmother, we go back, I was 12, 13. I should be dead too. This van pulled up to the skate park. My brother loves skating. And I would go read books. And I was sitting there. And a van pulled up and these two dudes get out. And they come over and they start talking. And it turns out they end up being from Abercrombie and Fitch. And they're doing a photo shoot in Lake Placid. And they wanted some local children to make it look authentic. And my grandmother sold my brother and I for $200 a day. And if you actually look in the news at all right now, like especially if you like Google Abercrombie and Fitch, there was a little bit of a child sex abuse situation going on there. There's a whole documentary on it. It's crazy. And my head immediately snapped and I'm like, $200 a day? Like,
Yeah.
there's no money in that market. But at the same time, I'm like, holy shit. Like, these guys just drove up to a skate park and said, who wants to come hang out tomorrow?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And parents were signing it up.
But that was also a different era, you know. Maybe now people are a bit brighter.
It was 1999.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were probably doing all kinds of fun stuff back in 1999.
I was already doing a lot of stuff, yeah. I mean, I was touring at 15, so it was like a whole other area.
Saw that. I was touring as a minor.
Weird. I don't even know how I survived. I mean, I don't know how
I know an adult registered the van, so you guys didn't have to worry about that. And
Yeah, but I don't know how we like got food or where. I mean, we slept at people's houses. Like the whole thing was fucking crazy, you know. I don't know. I don't know how we did it.
I don't think you could do it in this current climate. Maybe you can. I mean,
yeah, you could. I just think you have a different set of skills, I suppose, or heightened skills. I don't know. Yeah, you could do it if you wanted to. I mean, people do it. We probably just don't know as much about it. I mean, I don't think many people knew that I was a 15-year-old on tour because they didn't know about my band, you know. But regardless, it happened, and I think it still does happen now. But also, there was like the element of like no social media. You could kind of have a little bit more freedom maneuvering around the world and not have every person or anybody know where you were.
Do you know what Life 360 is?
No.
Okay, so like now it's an app I can get on my phone and I can put it on anybody's phone, like your phone, my phone. I can put my dog on it on a tile and it shows me exactly where they're going, how fast they're moving, where they are, if they're walking, if they're driving, like to a T, and it has crash detection. Like, there is no such thing as privacy anymore. People are like, this is going to save our children. I'm like, you're giving your information to the government.
Yeah.
Like, you are. Here you go. Off to the Apple people.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Like, I have an Alexa in here, and I'm like, shit, if I just hit play random music, it should have better taste with the amount of, like, music I talk about in here. We'll just play garbage.
Yeah.
And not the band garbage. It'll just zero play, like, you might like this. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But it also has like a camera on the front you have to close.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it like when you sign up for it, you give it permission to take pictures of you.
Mm.
Oh, fuck. Scary. But I'm really glad you've made it out. And I now have to get your last book. And thank you so much for doing this today. This has been super fun.
I would like to give an extra special thanks to Justin Pearson for appearing on the podcast. I personally had a blast speaking with him, and I hope you enjoyed listening. Please support Justin in his many endeavors. Visit www.whoischristineanyway.com for access to all the social media links and additional podcast episodes.